Well, I hate to always do this, but you know what time it is.
No, really?
Once again,
Okay.
we have to open the show with our celebrity RIPs. I almost said POVs.
Oh boy, I hope I don't have a POV of their RIP, because that would be really weird and awkward, and I'd feel terrible about it.
Yeah, you'd have to XYZ PDQ that.
I sure would.
Hey, as long as you laugh at the dad jokes, we've got a show still. Yeah, we've had a couple deaths over the week, and kind of surprising deaths, and all related to the music community, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think first of all, and probably greatest of all, sorry, the other two I'm going to mention, because they come in threes,
Yeah.
would be the death of Ronnie Spector,
Yes.
the leader of the Ronettes, singer of one of my favorite songs ever, Be My Baby.
Fantastic song.
And other songs with the Ronettes. And, of course, married to Phil Spector for a while.
Yeah.
What I didn't get is, knew it wasn't a great guy. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah, everybody. He killed somebody.
Okay.
Everybody knows that.
All right. He died in prison for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that was good. I'm just saying we all know about that. And I didn't know that, at the height of her success, she marries Phil Spector.
Yeah.
I'm doing math in my head for
Sure.
for a era that I wasn't alive during, but the Motown sound probably waned as the 60s went on. So maybe she wasn't still at the top, but she certainly was married to a big producer.
Yeah.
And is the Baby I Love You and Walking in the Rain, and this Ronnie Spector we're talking about.
I know.
And they got married, and he's like, "You got to stop singing."
I
She's
know.
like,
I
"What
read
are you talking
that.
about?" He's like, "Yeah, you're not going to sing anymore. You're just going to stay at home."
He's very controlling.
Oh yeah.
Incredibly controlling. Like, he had like barbed wire around their home, and like took
Yeah.
her shoes and like threatened to kill her, and like pointed a gun at her face.
Okay, right. So we're getting all the hits.
Sorry. It's just
she shouldn't have hit his wig.
unimaginable. Wow.
No, and so and they weren't separated until 1972, so she was able to get in on what was then, of course, the soul kind of the rise of soul. And did pretty good after that. But apparently she didn't have a real career resurgence until she was on Eddie Money's Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah,
Which is
I
just like,
saw that.
I guess if Eddie Money could do one good thing in this world, it would be Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah.
And if it's two, it's 2 Tickets to Paradise, maybe? I don't know. But otherwise, yeah. And so, she passed away. It's sad. Also, from the world of music, I was surprised to see that Rosalie Hawkins passed away.
Okay.
Rosalie Hawkins was a singer with the Dixie Cups, and they are they're behind Chapel of Love in 1964.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's surprising.
Yeah, that Chapel of Love went to number one in 1964, bumping the Beatles off the charts at their number one spot.
Okay.
Love Me Do, of course, they knocked them out, and that was probably the beginning of the end for these for these sweet girl groups, right?
Yeah.
No more puppies in the window after this.
No, there wasn't really room for that in the 70s, for sure, I don't think, and even probably later 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the 70s, good transition.
All right.
Because John Lind has passed away. John Lind was, in addition to being an A&R executive for Hollywood Records, he was also a songwriter, and he wrote songs for Earth, Wind and Fire. He wrote Save the Best for Last for Vanessa Williams.
Oh, that's a great song.
Crazy for You for Madonna.
Nice.
Yeah, and also wrote with artists like Cher and Aaron Neville, Rick Astley. And so,
nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, music was hit pretty hard this last week. I don't know. I always feel like I want to say something like big and grand and like, it's just...
So say something not grand instead.
It never gets easier, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I was really kind of like... I was reading up about Ronnie Spector because... I actually found out about her passing because I saw Shirley Manson from Garbage. She posted something being like, her death really hit her hard because she was like, she really looked up to the Ronettes, and she really liked them as a group, and she really liked Ronnie Spector, and like
it inspired me to make heavy mascara electronica,
right,
and strip on stage.
Not the same kind of music.
Doing, but yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, it led to artists being influenced, like Amy Winehouse, which made me think: is there like a 12-year-old Amy Winehouse out there right now who's gonna?
I don't know.
Who's waiting to take the beehive? Put the beehive on.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
there can be only one.
Wow. I read somewhere too that Ronnie Spector at one point after Amy Winehouse passed, she did a cover of Back to Black, kind of in honor of her, that's pretty cool. Like circle. I don't know if they actually ever met. But it seemed like she was like a really nice person too, and she just wanted people to be nice to each other, which is like nice coming, when you come from some abused relationship, and like you're like just be nice to each other instead of like you're like looking at the positive things. So
yeah, I guess you have to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, anyways, I feel like that's a big one. So
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to be a woman in music.
It is tough to be a woman in music, yeah.
It's tough.
It's really tough. Especially when your ex-husband's like, you can't sing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to add to that.
I'm
running out of things to say.
I heard that Zendaya is going to be playing Ronnie Spector at some point. I don't know if that's still happening or not, but like they were going to make at some point a film version of Ronnie's autobiography.
All right.
And so
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We've learned our lessons, right? So lesson number 1, not going to be what you think. Can she sing? I know she's a Disney kid.
Oh, I don't know.
I just assume that they, stick the thing in the back of your head like the Matrix, and
I can sing.
I know rhythm and blues.
Right.
Number 1. Number 2, I think we're covered because she's a mixed race. So we don't have to get the different basses out and play with
Is she
going
part
up or
Native
going
American,
down.
though? Because
she's not part Native American. I don't believe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, how deep do you want to go? I mean,
how do you replace someone like Ronnie Spector? You don't.
I don't know that you can, honestly. And like the thing with the Ronettes too, which I think is really cool, is it was like she was the lead, and then like one of her sisters, or I don't know, she has more than one. Her sister was in the group, and so was her cousin. Those were the other members. So it was all in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm running out of things to say, but they were just very influential. Their hair and their makeup and their style, and like she continued, I think, to just be somebody that people looked up to and were inspired by in the music industry.
Well, if we ever get to have an award show ever again, maybe they can do a nice tribute to her.
Yeah, that would be great.
Get 47 women on stage and...
What?
I just feel like when a guitar guy dies, they get 13 people all playing guitar.
Oh, okay.
It's like, that's going to make it sound real good.
Talking about. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just get everybody up there.
Right.
So, yeah, we can try that.
Right. Everybody in heavy makeup and beehives. And,
there you go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not you, James Corden. You can just sit this one out.
No, we don't want James Corden in drag for this. No thanks. So, sorry, buddy.
But done that a lot, I feel. Don't you think?
Yeah.
If I Google James Corden drag, what happens?
I think you're going to find something. That's my gut. Doesn't need to be the case. Let's not go back.
Apparently, he has a rap verse in One Direction's song "Drag Me Down," which,
what?
Speaking of being
that's weird.
Dragged down.
One Direction. Why did you do
I'm
this?
about as low as I've ever been.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's so weird.
Here he is dressed as Adele. Here he is dressed as Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct. So basically we found his main thing. I don't think he probably does that so much anymore on American TV, but I think it was probably
Okay.
Oh, nope, that's him with Michael Douglas in 2015 on The Late Late Show.
All right. Anyways.
I want to clarify, I have no problem with drag. I have a huge problem with James Corden.
What is your problem with James Corden specifically?
He's not funny.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know if I find him funny or not. I haven't decided. That's not really a sin.
You're ready to judge me, though.
I'm not trying to judge you. I'm trying to agree with you and add to stuff, and I don't...
You're trying to yes and?
Yeah.
How's that going?
Not well.
I know. It's the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban.
And I'm the co-host, Mikan Hana. He usually intros me in, so I paused.
That was her agreeing and then also adding something.
Yeah, there we go.
And we are here to talk about all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment. Here's the deal. I've got news.
Okay.
But what I really want to talk about is what we have chosen to talk about today, which is the release of Joel Coen's The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yes. That entire title.
Tragedy or triumph? We shall speak on that later. Real low energy today.
All right,
just
all
sitting in. Are you doing jumping? She's doing jumping jacks.
Yeah, sitting down.
You can hear him. You can hear him.
Sitting down, doing jumping jacks, getting my energy up.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about the last episode of The Expanse, too.
Well, I suppose we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just going off of our feature last week of talking about some of the new TV shows that are back here in 2022, we left out an important one, a big omission. For us, and that is the return of The Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
Season 2. So maybe we'll try to slip that in as well.
Okay.
All right. Now
that's
you
a lot to talk about.
for 5 minutes, and we'll go to news. Go. I'll get the timer here.
I'm talking for 5 minutes.
Started and okay, so we're starting.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so we've started.
I am reading Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere right now. And wow, long pause. No yes and from you.
Never read it. Let me take a shot here. A skinny, kind of nerdy Englishman meets a mysterious, quirky girl, and she introduces him to a world of fantasy. How am I doing?
I mean, more or less, yeah. And there's some other stuff.
I cheated a little.
Too.
I do know that that is the exact synopsis, but the point I'm making is that it's kind of the synopsis for all of
Neil Gaiman stuff, and it does kind of feel like it's like when they described the character, basically. I mean, not completely. No, when they've described the male character. I was like, whose name is Richard Mayhew. I was like, is this like your insert character, Neil Gaiman? Because it kind of sounds like you're describing yourself. I mean, not completely, but very similar in some ways. Although I don't think he is as put upon as this character is, you know.
Yeah. Once you're, and the cool thing about this is once you're done, you have so many places to go. You can read the DC Comics adaptation. You can listen to there's a TV miniseries, I believe, on the BBC.
Oh, okay.
You can listen to the podcast with James McAvoy, who I feel like I see that guy in movies. It's not like he's jumped ship to a new or better career, but he plays Richard. And I can't remember her name, but it's a girl from Game of Thrones, and you'll know.
Oh, I can't remember her name either, but I know who you're talking about with that
Describe
face.
the face that I just made.
Yeah, like you just
the smirking horror from Highgarden.
Yeah, it's just like you just drank the most sour thing ever, and your lips are super puckered. And
Maybe it's kind of good.
Yeah,
that's her. Natalie Dormer is her name.
Yeah,
as Dor.
Okay, I didn't know.
Oh, is that typecasting?
What you're saying? She's like a Dor.
Dormer, last name.
Oh no, I don't. That'd be weird.
Okay, obviously that's weird. It's not. You don't have to entertain everything. It's not you're not being a good co-host by going 3 levels deep on every dumb observation.
Sorry,
that I
was going to say before you chastise me on my comment that isn't James McAvoy Dream in the podcast version of Dear God went right out of my head.
The Sandman?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Jeez.
and then he did another one too, and I can't remember what it is, but it doesn't matter.
Are him and like Neil Gaiman just like besties or something like that?
I guess.
Like he's an actor, he's in stuff. Anyways,
and Benedict Cumberbatch plays somebody in that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can tell us, because I'm done. I'm done looking at this.
I hate that her name is Dor. It's kind of supposed to be...
It should be Nose.
Clever and stuff. No.
On the nose?
Well, I mean, at least it isn't... what is that character's name? That awful character name in the movie? Quiet. At least it isn't freaking Quiet.
I said Quiet.
I hate that.
What movie was Quiet?
No, not not movie.
Metal Gear
Video
Solid?
game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a horrible name.
But that's a Japanese man who is writing a story that is going to be translated and consumed mostly in English, probably. And so he is just trying to get certain concept across, like we have to watch her take a shower. That's what these are important things.
Oh my God. Stop defending Kojima.
I'll defend him all day long.
Okay.
He has a great Twitter account.
Yeah, he does. Great. Fantastic Samurai Burger, but
he must be 60 years old. I haven't looked because he's just been around forever. And except for a couple gray hairs and a little more weathered, he looks exactly the same. He wears a leather jacket to work every day. If I'm getting this right, I've seen pictures of his desk, and it's just a desk with toys on it, but not in a huge corner office. It's very successful Japanese businessmen and creators? Is there a culture where everybody has to be in cubicles or something still?
I don't know the answer to that specifically.
Anyway,
that's a very specific
he just
question.
has like a desk, and then he here's my I got a cool Mazinger Z video or a figure or something like that. I eat at McDonald's for lunch.
Sure.
Does he have any children?
I have no idea if Kojima-san has any children.
This isn't meant to be I look things up.
Has he met any women? Because he likes to name them Quiet and have scenes where they shower in video games. I'm sorry. How many great female characters are in Kojima's video games?
Okay, he's 58.
Close enough.
He is not married that I can tell. And personal life.
I mean, he seems like a cool guy. I'm just saying, not great
According to
female
his
characters.
book, he has 2 sons.
Okay.
Kojima is currently private.
What the heck does that mean?
Nice work, Wikipedia.
Whoa! He's currently private.
All right. Well, anyway, he's set to private.
It's like the little slider on like the bathrooms, like when you're on an airplane. It says private instead of occupied.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure. Why not? So anyway, yeah, that's the life of Kojima. That's the life of what you're doing.
Yes.
I am reading the Expanse books.
Yes.
Out of desperation.
Desperation.
It isn't that I have really no interest in reading them.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with the writers or the books themselves or anything. I just don't. I used to read so many books, and I read so few now because I have so little time.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about that. And if I was going to read some books, it would be, Finnegan's Wake or something like that. I would try to be reading some of the...
classics.
Well, I mean, what does classic even mean anymore? But some of the great books of the world before I die. And instead, I'm just reading this sci-fi series that I literally just watched on TV.
Yeah.
And the books are good. They're fine. But it's just essentially exactly the same thing. Here's an argument. If you've watched the Lord of the Rings movies, extended cuts, do you need to read the books? And I would say, yes. I think they are two different things. Even though essentially the same things happen and all the major beats are there, you are seeing, in one case, a unique author creating a persistent and an affecting world. And then for the films, you are seeing the same thing. You're seeing a guy who makes movies about puppets and people getting killed by lawnmowers suddenly make a multi-generational epic that will stand forever until they do the sequels.
Oh, God.
He did his prequels. When's he going to do his sequels?
I I don't know. I don't want to think about it. Like, the prequels are not good.
Yes, it's true. All of it.
Yeah.
They open up the Concerning Hobbits book. They're like, oh my God.
Right.
We thought you were a legend. It's true. All of it.
Well, is Frodo all grown up? He's like old
He's
now?
old, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we have to wait until Elijah Wood gets there, or unless they want to, like, gray him up or something like that.
Never happen.
Okay.
That guy's 40. This is never going to happen. I saw a thing that's like, Tobey Maguire is the same age as Willem Dafoe was when he played the Green Goblin.
That's weird to think about. That's very strange to think about. How old is Willem Dafoe now?
You know, I'm something of a senior citizen myself.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Why don't we just get to the news?
All right.
What are your feelings on Zorro?
I think it was a classic TV series that I know my mom and her siblings enjoyed a lot growing up, and I saw a little bit of, I think, on like Nick at Night. It was fun.
Like the
original like TV series.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never had Nick at Night, so I didn't know how deep they delved too greedily.
I saw it on reruns at some point. Anyways, like my mom's brother like carved a Z in his bedroom door when he was little because of Zorro. So the love of Zorro went deep. Let me just say that.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've had a Zorro, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't, didn't Antonio Banderas play Zorro?
He did.
At some point?
He did.
In the 90s?
In the 90s, in a 1996-7 film.
Okay.
Disney film.
Okay.
Now, that film was originally supposed to be directed by Robert Rodriguez.
But
as it turned out,
yeah.
It was not directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Uh-huh.
It was directed by somebody else who probably is not great.
Oh, okay.
Make a guess. Martin Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Martin Campbell,
I never would have guessed that.
You know, capable director, but not great. And that movie was not good because here's the thing. How do you... unless you update things somehow, Zorro is a noble who fights for the commoners and the indigenous people of
like
California,
Robin Hood,
right, against the Spanish, right, who are colonizing,
right.
So a hero for the times, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do any of that,
right.
But they don't. So like I don't remember. Like I know that they amended a lot of that for the 50s TV show.
Uh-huh.
The 90s movie wasn't about that at all. He's just a superhero, basically,
right.
who was trying to kill a guy that killed his brother or whatever. So, like, he's a folk hero.
Right. Right.
But
Robin
at the same
Hood,
time, I mean, he's basically, he's pre-Batman. Batman is a rich person. Why does he care about the poor downtrodden
That's true.
Of Gotham?
Right.
Shouldn't Don Diego just use his money to buy more?
I mean, that's the argument with Batman too.
For favelas, for the
right. Like, let's get more food and shelter.
Does he really need that tricked out black horse to ride around on? I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
not so much.
Well, anyway, Roberto Rodriguez will be developing a CW TV show about the Zorro.
Okay.
It was originally developed at NBC.
All right.
But apparently not good enough for NBC. So it will be moving to the CW. And we don't know where the CW is moving to. I don't know if we've talked about that story.
No, I don't think we have.
And he'll be working on it with his sister, who I didn't even know was in the business. But she is, Rebecca Rodriguez, who has worked recently on Doom Patrol and has been a TV director. She worked on Snowpiercer. So.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
No, I didn't either.
I know that he is, I mean, it's years ago now, but he was a real... came out of nowhere story, made a movie himself maxed out his credit cards.
Sure.
And then that got him sort of into Hollywood and working, I think he's worked with Disney before. But anyway, so they're going to work on that. It's going to be female-led.
Whoa.
A young Latino woman is looking for vengeance for her father's murder. She joins a secret society and takes on the outlaw persona of Zorro.
When is it going to take place, may I ask?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't say where I looked.
That's interesting.
Don't fidget.
I mean, I'm not opposed to Zorro being a woman. Like, and if Zorro is a persona, that can be passed on, that sounds like that's what they're going for, then that could work. I don't know how much it changes it. I mean, he's kind of like this heroic, swashbuckling-ish type hero who's good with a sword and, comes and saves probably a lot of damsels in distress. So, I mean, I'm okay if there's no damsels in distress either, because, let's move on past that trope. That's kind of how I feel. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with this. I'm intrigued. I guess I'm kind of wondering if she is going to be like a teen or early 20s and play a teen, because that's a lot of what it is on the CW, right?
That is definitely what it's going to be.
Yeah.
This is CW. Well, I mean, it was NBC, obviously. I think it was originally developed as, Robert Rodriguez wanted to do Zorro for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he still wants to do it.
Right.
And then probably was continually developed as counter programming to CW. And then ironically ended up at
the
CW. And will just be a ethnically flavored Arrow type series.
Right.
That may or may not, it's TV, so probably be modern day. The Secret Society has carried the name of, it'll be the Phantom. It'll be the Phantom.
Yeah.
Which did Alex Toth also did Phantom sometimes, didn't he?
I don't know.
Anyway, that's, same thing. White guy takes on a mantle.
Yeah.
Because it's Don Diego is, I don't know his full pedigree, but if he's a Spanish noble, he's not a Mexican person.
Right.
Or indigenous Californian person.
Right. So that changes things a little
I can't
bit,
do all the racism myself. You got to help out.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm just curious to see what this ends up being, I guess, before I judge it. You know what I mean?
I guess. I'm ready to judge it now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just tired of this crap. Do you know what I mean? I'm tired of I can already see it. She's doing pull-ups, in a cave or something like that.
Right.
There's a couple hot guys that she's kind of bouncing in between. I guess did I say her father was dead in this pitch?
Yeah.
All right, but her uncle is like, you can't be careful being Zorro. You can't go out there.
Right.
She's like, I gotta do it.
Right.
And then they'll come up with, she'll need a rogues gallery, which I don't know what kind of rogues gallery Zorro has. Who's Zorro's Joker?
I have no idea.
King Ferdinand?
Know what that answer is. Yeah, right.
Yeah, come on, Zorro.
Oh my God. Wow. King Ferdinand is Joker like.
I will rule you. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Thumbs down. Not interested. Who knows? I don't mean to judge it. It could be cool, but I don't really see it being all that great.
I mean, maybe we should let's have new ideas. Yeah. I think that'd be good.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's have new ideas.
Yeah.
You like Batman?
Yeah.
He's almost 80 years old.
Yeah, I know.
So he might be 80 years old.
Yeah.
But you like Batman? New ideas. Yeah. I like that.
I don't know. I feel like I can't win.
You are not put on this earth or on this podcast to win. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay. Well, great. I guess I'm not entirely thrilled with CW shows as of late anyways, because it just kind of seems to be
people like that Doom Patrol. I guess that's DC Universe, but
I don't know. It just CW shows just seem to be.
No, it's HBO Max now, isn't it?
It is now, yeah. It just seems to be set dressing. This is this is where our story is going to be played out and stuff like that, but it's all going to be I'm pining after this guy and and the other guy's pining after me and
we've done this. You're talking about Arrow, right?
Yeah.
All those guys that he pines after. We've been doing this for a long time.
We have.
And I felt like I had consumed a lot of media before we started doing this, which is the reason why I thought that I could do this. 7 years later, I have consumed so much media, I don't even know which way is up anymore. Mm-hmm. And I know what I like and I don't. And I don't like most stuff. But if there is, I'm like a wine taster who is, 12 glasses in and there are no crackers in sight. So not only am I drunk, But my palette is so inundated with different vintages that I have no way to reset myself. And there must be some way to do it.
Yeah.
Watch The Honeymooners a lot or something.
Find some way. Don't watch anything for a while.
Don't watch anything at all. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've been watching a lot of Farscape recently, and it's an interesting sort of snapback because I watched it, religiously when it came out like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been remembering not only the show, but like where I was as a person when I was watching the show. So maybe this is the answer. I don't know. But something that I've learned or that I feel about Farscape is it's like, so it's so well done.
Yeah.
And its first, maybe they're cheating because it's only 22 episodes instead of like 26, but their first season is like one of the best first seasons.
It's pretty good.
Of any sci-fi show ever.
Yeah.
Including Enterprise.
Really?
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
think the first season of Enterprise is solid.
It's solid. I would say like Farscape. I was thinking about this the other day. Like one of the weakest episodes is the Dargo focused episode which is too bad because I really like Dargo as a character.
They gotta save money. So, they're just going to rely on a very talented Anthony Simcoe, just be like, Jothy.
I know. And that's fine for him to be like, Jothy, and like say everybody's name.
Get out of here, Macton.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But it just, like, the story itself was like...
But you think about, we were watching, like, the last couple episodes of the first season, and I had to pause it at one point, and I just sort of put my head in my hands, and I was like... Anything that you hear, be it Star Trek Discovery or the new Zorro show or whatever they're coming up with now, where the fans, it's not good, and the fans are like, "You should be happy to have this." Should I? You can do whatever you want if you have the imagination. We're watching a show where, yes, it's Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon or whatever. They, it's a trope, it's a premise that's been used before, but like. It's about a guy that shows up with all these aliens and they've got translator microbes and this lady's a plant and they're doing this.
Yes.
And the problem in this scene is they're trying to like deal with the birth complications of this living ship giving birth to her offspring, which is part Leviathan and part gunship.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can sit down and write whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you have to have the balls to bring it to the screen.
Right.
And for 4 years, and I know they had to fight every year to come back. For 4 years, they did exactly that. And there wasn't any like, oh, maybe we should have like this, or like, maybe let's refer back to this thing that happened. Let's have an episode where a kid interacts with 6 characters that are all just animated and then have archived audio from previous episodes, which is
right.
Great.
Prodigy.
Yeah. Not quite the undertaking that Trials and Tribulations was,
no.
I suppose. But... Farscape has nothing to fall back on. And so they're just spinning things out of whole cloth. And the first season establishes that, screw the news, we're talking about this. The first season establishes that they're all different characters. They're all broken in their own way and in the best way for characters. And they all hate each other. Yeah. And then we spend 18 episodes of them all learning to trust each other, or at least to learn that, they have to cooperate or they're not going to get anything done. And then that's all put to the test when they find, when they meet the villain from the original, from inciting incident of the series.
Yep.
And then also chalky Darth Vader as well.
Yes.
And then they've got to take care of all this stuff, and they do stuff that's just so outlandish, and it works because it's just insane. It's like,
balls to the wall.
Crichton's and then, my criticism that way I won't dig into too much is that I also realize that it's like, oh, this is like the peak of non-woke TV because Crichton gets to kiss all these alien ladies. And he's completely out of his depth.
Ladies
and
love
yet
Crichton.
That's his power.
Yeah.
Usually you'd have a character that's like, hey, if you don't know anything, shut up. Yeah. But his power is that he isn't affected by the prejudices of people. And also, weirdly hopeful, pre 9/11, he's like, well, if you put a good old corn-fed American space boy out there, he's going to look at the problem and go, well, this is a solution. Yeah. You got to forget about the black bladder beast of Trag or the treaty of Omicron 2 or whatever.
Right,
like, you just got to do the, my granddaddy back on the farm gave us some corn pone whiskey and said, shut your mouth or whatever. And like now I feel like that's kind of insulting, but I still like the show.
Right.
And I think in the world
well.
and time in which it was made, it was just doing things that nobody else did. All right.
Yes.
That is enough of me talking about that.
I was just going to say real quick
that
like, I think that Farscape.
Have some corn pone whiskey and shut your mouth.
Okay.
I said quiet.
Stop it. That one of the great things is like, even though they weren't sure if they were going to come back every season and they fought for it, they wrote the end of the seasons. Each season could be
they're all gigantic
the end of the show.
Yeah, they never ever gave themselves any a safety net. They always leapt directly off the cliff at the end of every season.
And as a fan watching it, it must have drove you nuts. But
the series end really drove me nuts because it was a gigantic leap into nowhere.
Right. But like, I don't know. I just respect is all I'm going to say. Because I love that they did what they wanted to do, and they created this world that the aliens are so diverse. It's not just people with chewing gum. We have people like characters that are puppets. I think it's really cool, and I think it's often overlooked as a great sci-fi show, and it shouldn't be. It deserves all the praise that it gets.
I don't disagree. Here's a show that deserves no praise and will receive none, and that is the Y the Last Man show.
Yeah. Which
Hulu,
we talked about.
Yeah. Hulu canceled it last year. Right before the series ended, the showrunner, Eliza Clark, said that she was going to shop it around and really tried her best. But then she came out on Twitter recently and said, don't think it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Okay. I'm not terribly surprised, and I just don't think it's that intriguing of a story. Maybe it's just me, and I just didn't like the series. I that's just my opinion. I don't think it's that intriguing. What do you think?
I think that it is very similar to what I was talking about with Farscape. Maybe not quite as admirable, but it's like, a lot of roles for women because it's an entire world where there's only one man.
Yeah.
But is that man going to get a metric ton of ass? And also, is he going to be the one who's like, ladies, I have no dog in this fight over mascara. What if you just all share? And then they're like, great. And it's like written by a man who has never ended anything ever in his life. And so the series just kind of doesn't have an ending. And so, it's just,
doomed from the start.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I feel about it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not even, I'm talking about the comic. Like the show.
Yeah, I know.
Was not, if it was doomed from the start, why did they spend 10 years trying to get it to air and then fart out what they did?
Well, I think they thought they really had something for some reason, but you can't just like...
I don't know. I still think that and I'm sure we'll get in trouble, like, in certain situations, but every Hollywood effort should have a trapdoor clause. Not a backdoor clause, a trapdoor clause in the contract where, let's say the producers or the director, or even like a couple of the stars, if we hit a point, it doesn't matter where we are, well, let's say maybe up to 75% complete, you can just go, let's just stop. Let's just do this. It's a sunk cost fallacy. You think because you've been developing something for 10 years, it's worth bringing to the screen.
Yeah.
The answer is it's not.
Not always.
It was just impossible to bring to the screen. It took you 10 years to do. And you had so many people come in and out, so many producers, so many directors, so many actors all go do it for a while. And then I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
Nobody believed in this except for poor Eliza, who, was the showrunner for it at this point. Not the original showrunner, but she's the one left holding the bag.
Right.
And so just stop. Let's all stop. Let's all stop, because once it's done, then we have to spend money on marketing, which they didn't spend a lot.
No, they didn't.
And so if they don't spend the money on marketing, nobody knows about it.
Yeah,
you make a couple bucks from, Kotex ads or something like that, and that's it. And everybody's sad. Everybody feels like they failed. Nobody made any money. So just have that trap door.
Yeah. It's not your fault, Diane Lane.
Have a cutoff where you just go, Yeah, Diane Lane. Diane Lane, she'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
But just have a point where you're going to go, let's not do this.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? I think building off of that,
let's stop.
I think it's just poor timing, incredibly poor timing, because it's about like some sort of airborne disease.
It was filming before
I know
that happened.
And then it stopped.
Right. And we've talked about how little money that they've put into it.
Right.
So they're not going to stop and try to rewrite it to have it reflect what's going on. They're just going to doggedly push on. And so you're watching this show that is about a pandemic, but has nothing to say about the pandemic that we're
currently in.
You just get skeeved out when they're wearing masks for the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And so, it's just like, it's a low effort from everybody. It was the least of all denominators that would been the most common to have finished this on. And so trapdoor it. Here's another trapdoor situation.
Oh boy.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever resumes production after Letitia Wright recovers from her injury.
Okay. I guess I'm glad she's feeling better. I don't know how I feel about
So they have
film.
So we thought they were minor injuries. Turned out that they were worse.
Okay.
And we thought. They said that she had a critical shoulder fracture, which, I mean, critical is an adjective, I guess. But, I mean, shoulder fracture, bad.
That's
this is a
bad.
critical shoulder fracture. And a concussion with severe side effects. Now, we didn't hear about the concussion before. But that puts us where the severe side effects, tweeting loud about not liking vaccines.
Oh my God.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, look, I don't want to be a conspiracy theory person, but this puts them in a situation where it gives her an out, basically.
It does.
You know, she could be well, I was on a lot of Percocet for my critical shoulder fracture, you know, and if she wants to back down on it, then this gives her, and this is good PR at work.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how I feel about it, but okay. I just hope she's taking the whole situation more seriously now. That's all.
It's also possible that they took this break to do a lot of rewrites.
Yeah,
you can
it's entirely possible.
Shuri's gonna go check on this thing. You guys go. I'll stay here at the base. So Shuri will join Rose Tico in some very critical work on their shoulder fractures.
Okay, it's upsetting in a lot of ways. You know, everything that's happened around this movie has, I shouldn't say everything.
Well, losing the star wasn't
Losing
great.
the star was a huge, like, loss.
You just write the script on Post-it notes at this point.
Yeah, and then
butcher paper. There you go. The script's written on butcher paper.
Well, and then like Shuri, who does take up the mantle of Black Panther in the comics at one point,
wax pencil.
You know, the actress playing her has.
I do know.
Yeah, she's just like.
She also didn't like
questionable
vaccines.
things.
Weird.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, all these stories are going to be about women and their disappointing projects, unfortunately.
No.
As we move on to Leslie Grace, who will be appearing in the Batgirl film. Remember, this is an HBO Max film, so this won't be going to theaters.
Okay.
But HBO is, they're not going to do this first run thing anymore, but they are going to release feature films directly to their streaming service.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad idea, I don't think. It's going to be, like Netflix. I mean, they don't have Netflix, Okja or something. They do a couple theater films, but their big films are on Netflix,
mostly
right?
on Netflix.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
So this is HBO doing that as well. They're going to have this Batman movie. We already heard about the fact that Leslie Grace is playing Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. J.K. Simmons, presumably as Commissioner Gordon, will be in it.
All right.
Brendan Fraser, and of course Michael Keaton. And they've got her costume. Have you seen a picture of her costume?
I have not.
Oh boy, I wish that you'd seen a picture of her costume.
Yeah. I wish that you're going to.
Do you know what her costume looks like in the comic books?
Currently, or
I have no idea. Currently, the Batgirl of Burnside. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like purple and then like yellow accents. Like the bat is yellow and the boots and the belt and everything. Yeah.
Is that even true?
I thought it was true. Yeah. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember seeing in the
Okay.
in
When
the
I
comic.
give you the thing to say more things, don't just say what you just exactly said.
Yeah, that looks like how it does in the comic.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I think it's fine.
Do you think it's ridiculous for a black woman to have a big red wig? I guess it's just a wig. It's always a wig anyway, right?
I don't know. It's okay.
I mean, it's not. Barbara Gordon used to wear that to fool people, right? Until they just made her hair actually.
I thought that was Batwoman. Did Barbara Gordon do that too?
Yeah. Well, back in the Batgirl was. She was created in response to the seduction of the innocent, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I always think about her on the '60s TV show with. I can remember Marta, the Orion slave girl she played in TOS, but I can't remember the actress's name.
Okay.
But yeah, she had a short black hair, and then she would put on the red wig to throw off her father, who she's in the room with all the time.
Right. Which is so silly. But I mean, if it's supposed to throw people off, it's fine.
I guess.
I think. And if it's supposed to be kind of like this is another part of the costume that I put on.
Yeah, I guess. And like everybody's costume, like not only has a utility, but it also reflects, I don't know, their flair or what they're trying to present. And so if you want to look like a girl, great. If you want to look like a woman, the Thing.
Oh, sure.
An animate rock slide.
Sure.
No, he can't. He can't choose that. He doesn't want to look like that. That was a trick question. You failed that.
Okay. Test. All right. I fell for it.
I don't know. It's fine. What a dumb thing to complain about, but here I am.
I understand where you're coming from. It doesn't bother me though. It's not something that like would take me out of the film. I don't think.
Well, a lot of people don't like it online. I guess I'm trying to get into their shoes.
Okay. I can see like I saw something recently about like animated like black women's animated hair doesn't look like black hair.
Well, this is not black hair.
Well, I think maybe maybe some people are complaining about that. I don't know. That's one of the only things I can think of, and maybe they just don't like it. Maybe it bothers them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
I mean, she was like the one Afro-Latina in the Heights, right? Wasn't the problem with In the Heights is that it was too, it wasn't black enough.
Right. Right.
It's fine. I always liked. I'm just I feel like an asshole. I walk like an asshole. I quack like an asshole.
All right.
But Oracle became such a cool character.
Yeah, Oracle.
And something terrible happened to the character that we all agree is maybe not a good idea. But they took those lemons and they made all kinds of lemon confectionery out of it, and then they just went, "Oh, she can walk again because it's the New 52." And it's like, oh, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Whatever.
Great representation with somebody who's in a wheelchair too.
But guess what came? Well,
just saying.
Which is
it's amazing
the worst
to
thing
see
that can happen to you. That's your life's over.
Well, oh gosh.
Well,
and
it's
not a great message.
No, and it led to other things like Cassandra Cain, Batgirl.
Right.
A Batgirl who didn't have any female accoutrements on her costume, although her mouth was sewn up. I said quiet.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. But then when Batgirl comes back, it's like, all right, well, you're fired.
Yeah.
So no more Cassandra Cain.
Right.
What did we learn? What did we learn from this story? We should really have a plan when we get on the mic.
I think we learned that I don't know, that maybe we should think about why people are complaining about something in somebody's costume, like if it has like other things behind it besides I don't like it. That's what I think we learned.
Did you see Supergirl's costume?
No.
Well, let's not do this.
Okay.
Did you hear the story about Jonah Hill being badgered by Leonardo DiCaprio to watch The Mandalorian?
I hope badgered in a good way.
We are not a gossip rag.
No.
Although we have dipped our toes into gossip sometimes. This just seems like the most gossipy sort of story ever. But Jonah Hill was being interviewed because of being in Don't Look Up.
Oh, right.
And along with Leo. And apparently...
They've been in a couple films together.
In their... Did not have to watch them. In their downtime, Leo was really into The Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. And so he tried to make him watch it.
Okay.
And Jonah Hill, who has said apparently in the past, he told W Magazine, I used to have a rule. If it didn't happen or it couldn't happen, then I wasn't interested because I'd lose focus. Which is like, that's the rich actor version of I don't even own a TV. right?
What the hell, man?
It has to really happen.
Well, it has to be historical or something?
I don't know.
What the heck does that mean?
So Leo made me watch The Mandalorian, and it was like, Baby Yoda was so cute, but I just didn't give an F because I didn't know anything that it was about.
Jonah, you're a freaking idiot. Why
And then
did you
after
share
that?
that?
Yeah, well, after that, he said, Game of Thrones is so sick.
What?
This is
didn't
hilarious because I'm in 2012. I'm watching these episodes 3 at a time, and I'm watching the Red Wedding, and I'm like, oh my god! And I called my friends, and they're like, yeah, that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, right. that was big news like a while ago.
Perennial out of touch, Jonah Hill.
Speaking of Leo, I don't know how old this story is, but I saw this other story related to Star Wars and him. I guess an ex-girlfriend, an ex-model, I can't remember which one, she was being interviewed, and she was complaining that for a big date, he rented out a movie theater and then
That was satire.
Yeah, and watched all the Star Wars movies.
That was satire.
That was satire?
That was not real.
That was not real?
That was written in response to the story that I just read.
Are you serious?
But thanks for making a point for me
God.
about being vigilant about what's true
That
online.
was satire?
Yes, that wasn't real. No,
Okay.
he takes him to his yacht. He puts his headphones in, and he says, like, "Don't wake me up while you do me." And he vapes and he
Gross.
listens to his AirPods, and then they just, they get to work.
Okay, that's weird and gross. I used to have a huge crush on him, and that went away a long
I think
time ago.
I think you've passed his age of.
Oh, yes, definitely.
He probably looked at Jennifer Lawrence and was like, "Do we have to go with her?
Oh my god.
Are they a couple in the movie?" I have not watched that movie yet.
I think so.
I think I have tomorrow off, and so I'm probably going to sit down and watch Don't Look Up.
Okay.
And I'm going to be very mad about having to watch it the entire time. But it has reached the level of cultural cachet, and that level is lower. You know, Mount Everest, high.
Yeah.
Ice caps melt, seas flood. Mount Everest, not as high as it used to be.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It gets shorter by default.
Yeah.
Don't Look Up, the window of like what you had to know to be part of society used to be larger or smaller. So don't worry about the
The
for
metaphor?
Satire. But everybody is loving this thing as satire. I know for a fact that Adam McKay wouldn't know satire if it got into a fight with him and Will Ferrell. And so I have to watch this so I can talk about why it's bad satire.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I know
hate...
somebody is going to say, "Oh man, it's
So
just
great.
so true, so true, so true." And be like, "Okay, first it was Occupy Democrats, then it was Cake on Facebook. Now I got to go after you, my friend, for saying that Don't Look Up is good satire."
What's the problem with Cake on Facebook besides like reposting every
Liberal bootlickers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know, the boots on the other foot and the other shoes as well. Feet, something? I don't know. All I'm saying is,
yeah.
I just like how we really got him on this one. We really got him with Let's Go Brandon. And it's like, just say F Joe Biden.
I know.
I do.
I know.
I'm on the left and I say that.
I know. I had to look
you know now.
I had to look it up because you were giving me the hardest time that I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's like, you could just send me an article or just tell me what it is. But instead you give me a hard time, and then I feel guilt and shame. And so then I have
Just
to look it
curse.
up on my own.
Just curse, cowards.
I
can't
know,
curse
and
on this. It's a PG-13 show. but
they think that they're so clever that it's like, oh, it has the same amount of syllables. And it's like,
that would seem
idiots.
like humor to you, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
then walk 2 stairs up, maybe 1 flight, and Don't Look Up looks like humor to liberals. So I got to arm myself against that. I don't want the show to be all about me. Let me tell you about the dream that I had where I was opening a restaurant with Amber Heard.
I thought it was a home, and you were excited about the kitchen and the home. Now the
Who's telling
dream
this
is
story?
changing.
I
The
said
dream
quiet.
is changing. Wow! Stop telling me to be quiet. Quiet.
I do. Wait, I'm quiet now?
I said quiet.
Hold on, I got to take
Shoes on the other foot
take
now.
a shower.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my god.
I do need your opinion on this because only you can speak about it.
Oh, boy.
What do you think about Helen Mirren appearing in a biopic about Golda Meir?
It's. I don't know how to feel about it. I've got mixed feelings because Helen Mirren, not a Jew, but I love Helen Mirren and she's a great actress. So, do I think she could probably pull it off? Yes. How But I don't know. It's like there are so many people who are not Jewish who played Jewish people, and it's not. It's somewhat upsetting to me, as somebody who's Jewish, but like, I don't feel like I'm like the best Jew to ask about this because I feel like a lot of other people are more Jewish than I am and would be way more
Jew
offended.
Are you?
Yeah.
What do you think about?
I think that she was such an influential person, so I think that people are, and this film was about her, really a real person. So I think that people take more offense.
Yeah, God knows there aren't any old Jewish ladies in Hollywood.
Oh no, none
play this role.
Yeah. So.
What do you think about Jared Leto playing an Italian guy?
What is Jared Leto's background?
All right, first of all.
Know. Leto is what?
He's a Letonian, first and foremost, right?
A Letonian?
Second of all, he's a brown-haired white guy, so who cares?
Yeah.
Third of all, I think he's Cajun. I think his mother's from Louisiana, I think. So okay. He's French Acadian or whatever.
Okay. All right.
But not Italian. But whatever. That doesn't matter to me. So this movie is by the Israeli director and writer Guy Nativ, who is Jewish and Israeli. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you right now, I don't I don't like him.
You don't like the director?
No.
Why?
I don't think he's very good.
Oh.
I guess I'm going to have to go farther than that.
Yeah, I don't know any of his other films.
He made a movie called Skin.
Okay.
Which was about a skinhead.
Oh, God.
And it's just like he makes he's married to what's her name? She was in, I can't remember what she was in. She was in Veronica Mars, but that's not important.
Okay.
But Jamie Ray Newman is the actress, and they write and produce together, and they do these like dumb movies that are like the most basic, like think about it.
Oh boy.
You know.
So you're guessing based off of that
this
film
is
not going to be very good.
I don't know. Maybe he's just been sitting on like this great take on the life of the first female Israeli prime minister, the fourth total, Israeli prime minister. And however you feel about Israel, and however you feel about all that, right. I mean, there's a story to tell still.
I think so.
Forrest Whitaker can play Idi Amin, and that can be an amazing movie. You know.
Right.
I'm not comparing Golda Meir and Idi Amin. I'm not equating them.
No, you're not.
But he's cool with it. So I don't know. You know what I mean?
I know.
I just think that for me, it's the political reality. And when I say political, I guess I need to be careful when we're talking about a movie about the Prime Minister of Israel. It's the Hollywood political angle or commercial. Let's switch it to commercial. It's the commercial angle of got to get made. So I need Helen Mirren to do this.
Right.
Could I get, I don't know, one of these other Jewish actresses that I can't think of now. Mm-hmm. Could I get one of these other people? Sure, probably, but I need to get it made. And so,
right.
Helen Mirren wants an Oscar, and good luck getting an Oscar playing Golda Meir, but we'll find out. It just seems like, I don't know, it seems like a disaster to me. And then at the very end of the day, it's about a Jewish lady, and nobody's going to care. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody's really going to care anyway.
Because it's about a Jewish woman?
Yeah. No, not specifically about a Jewish woman. If this was like Nina Simone, the movie would never even get released. Mm-hmm. But instead, a couple people have raised this. I think I saw this in Variety, and there was like somebody was like, is this okay? But I doubt anybody's going to care.
Just more socially conscious these days. And so now we are like very like, is this all right? And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't know. I mean, it's hard because, having a theater background, it's just hard. Like, do you have, when you go in for casting, do you have to have your genealogy like all spelled out for people? Is that something that they're asking for now?
Clearly, they are not asking for that.
Yeah. I just, how do you cast something if you don't know? If somebody
clearly
looks
you don't
a certain way.
Care that much because we've got stories like this to talk about.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It just reminds me of the the movie The Ricardos recently too. So
look at Slate. Slate says,
yeah.
Green Book's Best Picture win wasn't the most embarrassing Oscar victory. this was from 2019, and it was the short film produced by Guy Nativ and Jamie Ray Newman, directed by Guy Nativ, of Skin, the short film version of Skin.
Oh.
And it's the whole thing is just like, that's tough. Boy, race. It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah,
I think I'm aware of that, but thank you.
And Slate didn't like it.
Yeah. Wow, that says something, doesn't it?
I guess. You just believe me when I tell you like which liberal rags suck and which ones are passable but not great. You don't have an idea.
I don't.
You look, I admit it is a nuance. It's a science of nuance. When you hear like people talking about, in the UK, the tradition of, don't worry about that. He reads the Mirror. Like, what does that mean to you? You didn't even know about that.
It's like a trashy magazine or newspaper.
You didn't even know about that.
No,
there's like 6 or 7 papers in Britain, and they're all, you can just do a political spectrum with all of them.
Sure.
Whereas
I think I knew
in
the
America,
Mirror was
it's just, it's all liberal.
No,
media.
It's not. That's bullshit. Like we know.
Hey, if it's not going to be a good show, I'm going to make it political. So if you don't want it to be political, then you need to take point. You take point on this one.
What about Fox News? They're not liberal.
It's not news. Let's talk about the BBC. And speaking of Britain, they're going to freeze the BBC's license fee in Britain.
What does that mean?
Oh, okay. You don't know anything about Britain. Interesting.
You mean like the
TV,
public television?
All TV is public TV in Britain.
Yeah.
Unless you have a satellite.
Right.
So everybody has to pay, I think it's up to like £150 a year.
Okay. So around
you have to pay
USD.
And they don't take it out of your check or anything like that. Like you have to mail it in. And some people try to not do it sometimes. And you have stories. I don't think they even really like enforce it that hard, but there's stories of, in the 70s, the BBC van would drive around a lot and somehow they had a scanner. They could tell who had a TV and then they'd like
weird.
Check and make sure that you paid your license fee.
Oh my gosh.
But, there's been no official government announcement, but it has been basically leaked that they will be doing this.
Okay, and so that's just the BBC. Now, are there other TV stations that your fees go towards? I know there's like 4 different BBC channels.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there are.
Okay.
4 channels. No, there isn't anything that your money goes towards.
Okay. Well, why did they wait so long? I mean, this is the second year of the pandemic.
Yes, it's partially to do with that. It's also because the idea of a license fee has been under attack for years, but in recent years has been sort of more under scrutiny. And I think that they renew the bill or whatever every 10 years and it's coming up in a couple years. And so they're looking at possibly, changing that.
Okay. So they're looking forward to possibly doing that. That's not necessarily going to happen anytime soon.
Let's talk about what happens if they don't do it.
Okay. What happens if they don't take away the fee?
Well, there's no commercials on the BBC.
Oh, right. There'd be commercials.
I guess there would.
Yeah. Like, how do they get their funding?
They get $5.1 billion American from license fees every year. That's how they run the BBC.
Right. But if they don't have those fees, how do they run it?
Kotex commercials.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah. So you're just going to have commercials now. That's what it's going to be.
See, you're as an American who has had commercials since the day that her parents were born.
Yeah.
You don't care about that, but
it's annoying.
Do you want to open that door?
No.
Do you want to open that door?
No, I watch streaming now, and when commercials
Those
come
are the
up,
only
even
commercials you see.
And like YouTube commercials is what I see. And so it's annoying when you watch broadcast TV and there's commercials and you can't fast forward. It's annoying. Yeah. So it's just going to be irritating, and people are probably going to be mad about the commercials. Nobody's going to be happy either way.
Yeah. I've never watched TV in Britain. Well, I've watched TV in Britain. I haven't lived in Britain, though, so.
I've never been to Britain. So.
I don't have, I'll have to talk to some of my British friends to see how they feel about it. But it seems like one of those things where they tell you, it's like net neutrality. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
You can eat popcorn and watch Nuremberg rally footage all day long.
Right.
They're trying to sell you on something good, but the point is to screw you, right?
Right.
And I feel like that's what's happening here.
I think so.
Although, the short term is I don't have to pay £160 a year to watch TV.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Get ready for honeycomb commercials, wall to wall. Honeycomb.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple real quick things here. The Nevermind baby, Spencer Eldon, has refiled his lawsuit against Nirvana. I think we predicted that last week, and it has happened.
All right.
We might have a Moon Knight release date for Disney Plus.
Yeah, okay.
Not official, but it's been kind of circulating online. March 30th.
Oh, sooner than I thought.
Will be when the Moon Knight comes out.
Okay. Looking for that.
Oh, I forgot that the no.
What?
More the DOA POVs.
No.
Fred Paris, the singer from In the Still of the Night by the Five Satins, has passed away. He was 85. I forgot that came in fours this week.
Another music one too.
Yeah, so Fred Paris will be missed.
Yeah.
What else?
Great song.
Yeah, it is. What else is going on? I like the Boyz II Men version myself. No, I'm just kidding.
I probably am familiar with the Boyz II Men version, so yeah.
Revivals. Justified. We'll have a Justified revival at FX.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. How many years has it been? Like, it's been a long time, right?
It was on for 5, and it's been off for maybe...
5 years? Really?
Almost 10.
I think I've seen, like, the first episode of that, and I don't think I've seen any other episodes. Have you watched all of it?
I haven't really watched any of it.
Oh,
I just watched the first episode.
Okay. I wonder if I'd like it. I mean, I like...
What's your mileage on...
What's his name?
Walton Goggins?
Yeah. I mean, he's okay. Walter Goggins. I'm thinking more... What's the main guy? Walton. Oh. Why did I think it was Walter?
Because that's a more normal name.
Okay.
I'm sure he was named after John Boy or something. But
yeah, right.
Timothy Olyphant we got to keep him off the street. He needs something to do.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Yeah.
And speaking of TV reboots, what about rebooting Quantum Leap at NBC?
I'm okay with this. I really hope... I'm excited about it. Let me change that. But I really hope that... oh my God. What's his name?
Scott Bakula.
Yeah. Is his character name Sam Beckett?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking the character name. I really hope that Scott Bakula is in it in some shape or form. He doesn't necessarily have to be a main guy. That'd be cool if he was. But, get somebody else in there, but have him in there in some way.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. How about you?
I don't think they'll do it.
Oh. You don't think they'll do a Quantum Leap?
No, I don't think Hasselhoff wasn't in the one of 2 Knight Rider reboots that they did, was he? I don't think he was.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I didn't watch them. I don't think NBC cares. I think they want to remake their properties, and they might have a nod to something. But from what I understand, and there is no real script or anything, I think the ink is real wet on this deal, which is only a pilot order. But they want to have it be in modern day,
sure.
Which, that's just your frame story when you're time traveling, right? But
yeah, right.
But if they do that, then they could resolve some of the unresolved stories of the first iteration of this.
I wonder.
If you've got the star and he's a very famous star, they probably can't afford him at this point, right?
Probably not.
And he's still around and he's still doing stuff and ready to go. Then why wouldn't you? Other than not being able to afford him.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how that shakes out.
I am too, and I can't wait to see the Egon Al hologram that Ziggy creates.
Oh,
from this show.
That's sad. Come on.
Right.
No, get somebody else to play that role.
The door slides open and then awkward, stiff.
No.
Al hologram walks out. Doesn't say anything. Just goes. Just kind of
puts a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah. Stock footage of cigar in mouth.
Yeah. Right.
Back in the thing.
That's sad. I don't want that.
There's.
Oh my God.
I don't deserve to live. There's. In the opening of, I think, the second season on, the opening credits of Quantum Leap, they have all the scenes from all the things. And there's one where Al it must have been a Halloween episode because he's in a spooky ghost costume, like a Jacob Marley costume with chains. And he's like, woo, And this just shows you how little cachet that Quantum Leap has, is that I think I was the only person I knew that posted about the death of Dean Stockwell when he died.
Yeah.
But nobody posted that ghost gif. And you go, it's bad taste. It's the internet. I just came up with it.
It is bad
because I sat and thought about it for 20 seconds.
Oh my God.
So I'm off to dig up that ghost gif.
No.
It's time. He would have wanted it this way.
Maybe that's
I've got 30 seconds to get this ghost gift, Sam.
Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. We really love you and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Let's talk about shows that are on the air.
Ooh.
That's why I make no money. Before we talk about Macbeth, let's talk real fast about those things that we promised that we'd talk about.
Yes.
Although we've really gone over, and are they worth talking about? The finale of The Expanse. Go.
I really liked it. It's unclear whether the show will be back or not, and I think that
It's not going to be back anywhere. If it comes back, quote unquote, it will be on another network.
yeah, okay, fair. It's unclear if they're going to get
no
another
plans
season.
to. Yeah, they're
and-
going to be up at the bar with Eliza, being like, "It's such a good show. I don't know why they won't."
But I thought
Don't hold your breath.
Okay, all right, I know, but I thought there were some nice touches in it. I really liked how, it just seems like the crew is going to go on and they're going to continue doing stuff, and we see the ship kind of like fade away, and we just kind of stay in one place and it fades.
But they're not.
They're not?
No.
What do you mean they're not?
Terrible, terrible things are going to happen. You have saw, if anything, so I saw a thing. I guess we'll try not to spoil things, but we might get close to spoilers. But I saw a thing that said, like, one of the things that they wanted to do in this shortened 6-episode season
So short.
was, quickly tell a story about people coming together, and the good guys win because they're willing to cooperate with each other. Obviously, culminating in, the meeting between Avasarala and Drummer, and the
Yes.
Belt deciding to work with the UN.
Yeah.
But up to that point, you've got all these other things where, Holden takes Peaches in or something, or like because Amos helped Prax is just like, hey, I just thought I'd call you and tell you that I got something that could like feed all of Earth. I know you want this,
Right.
Like
right.
all these seeds that were sowed, these seeds of like kindness and cooperation are reaped throughout the thing to let
Right.
us know that things are going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to be okay, because the real
Not
lesson of the whole
necessarily.
thing is that all you did was kill one shitty guy who
And his
wanted
crew.
to sacrifice all of humanity for his pride. So he's done, but the real problem is through those gates.
Yeah.
Where the
Yeah.
people with bigger ambitions are doing God knows what, and the future of humanity is very, very much in question still.
Well,
Now, that's possibly beyond the scope of a show that couldn't even get 7 episodes for its last season.
I know.
But I don't know. You don't want to go full Farscape and leave it like, oh boy, things aren't great. But
Right.
they pushed way heavy in the other direction with
It was
like
too heavy.
no major character deaths. Everybody gets exactly what they want. Holden finally gets one over on Avasarala. There's no, like, I like Drummer, but like there's no guarantee that this is going
It's
to
gonna
work out. And so I don't know. I thought it was, for a show that was pretty grim sometimes. It's dark
Yeah.
in space. Just like uncharacteristically like
Positive.
mega happy ending. Everything's great at the end.
I mean, I could see that. We do, I guess, spoilers. I don't know. See that Philip got off the ship beforehand. So, that really emotional moment earlier in the episode when Naomi thought that she had pushed the button that essentially had killed her own son. It kind of took away from that a little bit, even though it's like, well, I'm glad that he was okay, but maybe you could have just left that ambiguous and let people think whatever they want, because it kind of seemed like he was kind of sick of his dad and everything that was going on, but that had been building this entire season,
Right, and it wasn't a surprise. I mean,
No.
there was no surprise that was going to be the way it was.
Yeah. I was, I guess, a little surprised, like, that other Belter on the ship that he, like, bonded with, who, like, accidentally killed his own brother or whatever. He was just there for Philip to, feel bad about the things they were doing. And, like, it's not like Philip was like, oh, dude, we got to get off the ship, come with me. Like, that guy's gone now, too. So, I don't know. That's a little depressing to think about. Because he seemed like he was okay.
Yeah. Why didn't Philip go down to the brig and be like,
seriously?
hey, why don't we, you want to get out of here?
Let's get out of here.
Philip and that guy.
Yeah, right. I don't
They're
remember
the
his name.
Adventures in Space.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it was cool that, like, he changed his name and everything. But, like, I don't know. It was like, why did we need to see that? I kind of felt like, I don't know.
I've tried not to think about it because the more I think about it, the more I don't like it.
Okay.
But I'll let you know when I get to that point in the books.
Okay.
You know what's back?
What's back?
The Righteous Gemstones.
Ooh, can I get a name in?
And no.
Oh.
And no. And I haven't, it's weird that I haven't
Why is David Lynch here?
barely thought about the Righteous Gemstones at all. That's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, that's not high praise.
And I haven't really thought about it at all since it was on. And then it started up and I'm like, I hope they have a last time on. They don't.
Nope.
They don't. And so I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell has happened here?
I don't really remember, to be
And-
completely honest.
You know what I learned?
Hmm.
I don't think it matters.
I don't know that it
I don't
does.
think it matters.
No, they're just shenanigans again.
Misbehaving.
Misbehaving, yes.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't think he's on this year. So
Oh, that's too bad.
Uncle, what's his name?
Oh,
Uncle
right.
Misbehaving.
No, I think isn't he gone?
No,
He's not?
no.
Oh, okay.
He got hit by lightning and they prayed and he came back to life.
So where is he then?
He just enjoying. Did he give the money back? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
This is bad.
I just don't think he's going to be a part of it, but I guess
Oh.
I haven't looked it up because I was surprised that the show was even back.
I know.
That, the whole, like, them praying and him coming back to life, it helps complicate the very complicated message of this show and my complicated
Yes.
feelings about the show.
Uh-huh.
And you talked a lot about The Expanse, so sit back. I'm going to talk about the Gemstones.
Okay.
As somebody who grew up
Yeah.
in the evangelical church and somebody whose family members are ministers in the evangelical church and who has himself been on the other side of the pulpit, there are things that they get really right about it, and there are things that are just the Danny McBride things. And
Sure.
so there was a lot of booty tooching and what do you call this? A shimmy?
Shimmy, yeah.
I don't care how progressive your evangelical megachurch is. There's probably not a lot of shimmying going
Probably
on.
not.
And you can believe that fetuses are babies, and that black people should be well spoken, but somewhere else, and
Wow.
have taste as far as art and music goes. Still, right? When you think about the very talented performers who are singing and dancing and doing stuff on those stages. I know it's a comedy, so what am I complaining about? But it's a little too far. It pops the bubble of verisimilitude for somebody like me who has seen things like this. If there's something that's tasteless and it looks tasteless on a comedy show, it would be tasteless in real life if they
That's
did it
true.
in real life.
That's true.
So when she's singing about Jesus being her boyfriend and they've got all these sequined dancers behind her, it's like this would not really be a thing. And
It's too far, is what you're saying.
yeah, and Eric Andre blasting out a guitar solo. Maybe.
Maybe.
Close.
For God. For Jesus.
Yeah, but I don't know. So that's just something else that I haven't had to confront in two years. I haven't had to think about. I was thinking about that as it was going. That being said, I'm glad to be back with these characters. I still like them, although I am conflicted because I don't know what the show's about. They're clearly bad people.
Yeah.
It seems like it is a criticism and a satire of religion, specifically evangelicalism.
Yeah. I would say so.
Evangelicalism? That's a word. But they're lovable losers. And
In a weird sort of way. Yeah.
God answers their prayer at the end of the first. So it's I almost don't like it. It's like, that's my Bush. That's my Bush. Remember That's My Bush, the very famous Fox sitcom that started during, I think, Bush's second term, where they're just going to make fun of George Bush?
Yeah, right.
I'm not against making fun of like bad leaders, but I'm against the making them too cartoony, because then they become
likable.
Yeah.
Well, he was kind of a buffoon, so like sometimes he was likable because he was such a freaking buffoon.
Yeah,
like
Donald
in real
Trump
life.
is hilarious. And I don't mean any joke that he's ever told. I mean just like
How ridiculous he is.
Yeah, he's like Falstaffian, in the way that he perceives himself and the reality of who he really is. And then he's like, shimmying down the little ramp because it's too wet, and he's taking off his mask and breathing like a bellows, on the veranda. And just everything that he does is hilarious. But like, I resist like having the big baby balloon or like the dancing Trumps or something like that. If you would have the dancing Trumps if Jay Leno was still on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then he's just a cartoon character.
Yeah.
And he isn't like...
And then he's likable.
A very bad world leader who's a fascist. Yeah. So... I don't think that like Eli Gemstone or any of his kids are fascists, but I don't know what's the point? Because clearly this new thing is Amber
fun of religion?
Amber and oldest son,
name?
can't remember the character's
Danny McBride.
name. Danny McBride's character are going to try to become friends of Eric Andre and his wife, the Listens, and they'll end up being way worse than Danny McBride. Yeah. And then he'll be like, well, I don't know about that. Like, we learned a lesson here. We got to stay in our lane and just continue to regular exploit our congregation.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I think this is just making fun of like big churches.
Right, but they're the heroes. Right, but they're the heroes of the thing.
I know.
And then
I feel bad for like their
we had this
oldest
problem
son.
in the first season, which was you've got Eli Gemstone, who they show the predatory practices where he has, what is essentially a 21st century tent revival that rolls into town. And Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulrooney? It's Dermot Mulrooney. Yeah. Dermot Mulrooney's pastor is like the head of the pastor council or whatever of the area. And they're like, we're welcome to have a new congregation. Just, can you not like drain our congregations dry, because everybody's going to get excited about the gemstones. And so that's okay. Interesting conflict, real world conflict. Then in 2 episodes, he and a bunch of the other pastors kick the shit out of Eli in a parking lot or whatever. And it's like, okay, I mean, like,
yeah, I know, right?
What?
It's like, well, I'm not rooting for you anymore.
Now I'm not rooting for him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I think it's insidious.
I mean, I feel like...
But that's bad satire.
I feel like the last time we watched it, I feel like you...
That's bad satire.
Yeah, I feel like the end of the season, you weren't sure how
Making
you felt
the person
about
that
it.
you think that you are really nailing like the most compelling person. This was the problem with Vice.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney is as close as we're going to get to like the devil on earth.
Freaking jerk,
and
idiot. Yeah.
And he's just played so convincingly. It's such a strong performance by Christian Bale, and they pull out all the cool things from Dick Cheney's life. Like apparently before he got into politics, he was an oil worker and he was a bit of a roustabout and a drunk, and he looked cool. Like he's fighting guys in bars, and you're like, Dick Cheney F's. Like,
oh my God.
You don't want to feel that way.
No, that's
all right.
gross.
Well, let's talk about somebody who is completely unimpeachable as far as character goes. A real leader for the times that we can get behind, because you don't want to be in front of him when he's holding a knife. And
or
that's
a dagger.
Macbeth. All right.
Yes.
We're going to say dagger 47 times in a couple minutes. So I just said I thought I'd like to say knife this time. We're talking about the tragedy of Macbeth.
Yes.
A new take on the Macbeth story.
From Shakespeare. Yes, as you laugh.
As if that was possible.
Here's
but here we are.
for you. So I know saying Macbeth in a theater
it's
is
a theater. You can say it on the radio all you want.
Luck.
Say it on the radio.
You're supposed to call it the Scottish play.
Do
but
it.
It's just in the theater?
Doesn't matter.
All right. So we got Denzel Washington in the lead role.
I'll tell you what Slate thinks. Slate says The Tragedy of Macbeth is a frighteningly good Shakespeare movie. That's the Slate that I know and hate.
Oh, I thought they were going to say is a tragedy.
They're the ones. Now I'm thinking Skin might be pretty good.
Whoa.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess we'll have to watch it to decide, or not. And then Frances help me out with her last name because I'm going to do a bad thing.
McDormand.
McDormand, and say it wrong. Frances McDormand plays Lady Macbeth. And like you and I conferred, I feel like married to Joel Coen.
I never confer.
Okay, fine. She's married to Joel Coen. Kind of feels like she wanted to play Lady M, and so he's like, "I'll do it myself."
So I don't know.
That might not be the case, but
I didn't even bother to look because the Coens are so, I don't want to say secretive. They are private. They are set to private, and so they don't always talk about their process.
Yeah.
And there's only one of them.
For this,
first Lana Wachowski and now Joel Coen.
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, I didn't look at any of that. You know, that's just speculation. Frances McDormand is one of the greatest actresses.
She's fantastic.
Of all time. And sure, it's helped that she is married to one of America's greatest directors, she's not been in all of his movies.
No.
But I feel like there's always a part there if she wants it. And so she's had that to fall back on, as if you could fall back on Coen Brothers movies, but also had the opportunity to do other things.
Yeah, and
she's won an Oscar with them, I believe, although I couldn't tell you what film.
I can't remember.
She's won more than one, right?
She's won two. She won one for Three Billboards.
Yes, 3 Billboards. Okay, so it wasn't them. So forget everything I said.
But she's won two.
She has won two. She's won one for Wonderland or Nomadland. And so
that's right.
She doesn't need.
Fargo.
I don't know. I said quiet. She doesn't need her husband to put her in things.
No,
she can do fine without him.
Yeah.
But that being said, if Denzel Washington is like, I ran out of August Wilson plays, and if you can't, that's just a joke because you can't ever run out of August Wilson plays.
No, he was very prolific.
And if Frances McDormand is like, I'll play Lady Macbeth, sure. Then you've got the tragedy of Lady Macbeth.
I feel like every actor wants to either play Macbeth or Lady Macbeth in their career. I just feel like that's on the checklist.
Well, I would have. I played Macduff.
Right.
At least I got to kill him.
Right. Sure. Exactly.
So we have a. I hesitate to call it stripped down. It's
shortened though. Like how long?
Considering the fact that this was only made 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago.
Wait, this was made 6.5 years ago?
No, they made Macbeth 6.5 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
Justin Kurzel and Michael Fassbender made that Macbeth movie that you hate, and I think is better than this.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not trying to be a prick about it. I just think that it is.
But you have to remind everyone that I hate it.
Well, let me remind everybody what happens in this film. God knows we're not going to let you do it. So,
Jeez, quiet.
Macbeth is the Thane or Lord or King of Glamis. And he works for the King of Scotland, basically. And his buddy is Banquo. And they have just finished this big battle against the King of the Norwegians or whatever.
Yep.
They're always causing trouble in Shakespeare's plays. What's going on?
Norwegians?
Did they have a conflict with the Norwegians? Or is there just somebody safe to make the bad guy? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, didn't the Vikings come down from Scandinavia and invade, like, England? Like a long
600 years before this was written?
Maybe they just were their enemies at that time. Like the people, if they're going to have a conflict, it's going to be somebody in Scandinavia. I don't know.
It's going to be they.
It's going to be people who have open-faced sandwiches and open relationships.
Their sandwiches are open.
Their relationships are open.
So anyway, and so after this battle, first of all, he did a real good job in the battle. And so Duncan, the king, says, all right, you know what? Make that guy also the Thane of Cawdor, because the Thane of Cawdor was a lord who betrayed us to the Norwegians, and we're going to take this guy out.
Yeah.
But you get that too. Now, Macbeth doesn't know this. He and Banquo are just chilling out, and they run into, in this movie, one, but in every other representation of this, 3 weird women.
The Weird Sisters.
Yes, who prophesy that Macbeth shall be king, and that Banquo will get kings. That is, he will... he will sire a line of kings.
Right.
And so they're both like, that sounds pretty good.
Uh-huh.
We both like that.
Right.
And so they disappear and they're like, weird. Well, what are you going to do? Weird women talk to you on the road. Don't believe it. And they meet up with Duncan or actually a guy comes, Ross comes and tells them, hey, you're the Thane of Cawdor. And they're like, whoa, get that lady's number. She must know something about this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all good and well and good. As the arrangements are being made, Macbeth goes home, and his wife is like, we could go higher than this.
Yeah.
Because the king is, let's face it, he's old, and you kicked a lot of ass in this last war, and people like you. Maybe you should do the thing.
Yeah.
And you could be the guy. Plus these women seem to think that you're going to pull this off.
Right.
And so Duncan comes to visit Macbeth at his house. Long story short, he sees a dagger before him.
Yeah.
And he kills the king while he's asleep, and he blames it on his guards.
Yeah.
Porter scene. Moving on. So the fallout of this is basically Banquo's like, okay, well, that seems kind of weird that the king's men would kill.
That.
Yeah, well, maybe I should get out of town.
Yeah.
He tries to do that, but Macbeth is like, well, I got to take care of this other guy. If he's going to have kings, that means that I won't be the king one day, right? So he has Banquo killed. Banquo's kid gets away. Fleance gets away. And all this is going on, and Macbeth's starting to feel like maybe this isn't a great idea. Didn't have a great idea here. Yeah. He has Banquo killed. Banquo's ghost or something happens at the feast and kind of drives Macbeth mad. And people start to think, okay, I think we all see what's happened here, don't we?
Yeah.
So Macduff, who's this young lord, decides, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to team up with Malcolm, who is one of the sons of the king.
Yep.
They flee to England. Meantime, Macbeth has another visitation of the witches, the Weird Sisters, who give him some prophecies saying that he'll be king, that he cannot be killed by a man born of woman, and that he will never fall until the Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane, his palace. And he's like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, right.
But in the meantime, maybe we should have Macduff's family killed, just to be sure.
Which is just
So
awful.
he kills Macduff's family, all my pretty chickens in their dam in one fell swoop. Fast forward. Lady Macbeth is not doing so good.
Nope.
And is kind of estranged from Macbeth, but he's kind of involved in what he's doing. Macduff and Malcolm get together with C-word.
C-word?
Get rid of the C-word.
What?
I'll leave when I'm good and ready. And they attack the castle, looking to overthrow Macbeth. Macbeth kills C-word, but ultimately meets Macduff. And Macduff is like, you killed my whole family, you're going down.
Yeah.
But Macbeth is like, I can't be killed by anybody born of woman. And he's like, well, I was a cesarean section. And Macbeth is like, I'm in deep shit. And they fight. And Macbeth is killed.
Yeah.
And in this movie, that's the end.
Yeah.
But in the play, things are set back to right. I saw some summary somewhere where they're like, Macduff becomes king. Oh, F for you. He doesn't. Malcolm becomes king.
Yeah, right.
And they all go back to Scone, presumably for some treats.
Scone? They all go back to Scone?
That's the seat of the kingdom in Scotland.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Is that why they're called scones? Are they from there?
Yeah.
Oh. Learn something new every day.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
If you can reach one person. I can't help but think now that we live in a third year of a global pandemic that any movie that only has two people on a screen at once was clearly made
during the pandemic
with the pandemic in mind.
Kind of feels like it.
Do you think that this feels like that Ethan or Joel Cohen watched The Lighthouse and went, I can do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's in black and white.
Do you think that the kind of neo-expressionist, minimalist feel of this film was a product of watching The Lighthouse,
Maybe.
the worldwide pandemic, or what?
Can't be both.
Sure, why not?
I just thought that too that Lady Anne, this is maybe a weird thing to
talk
about, but
you can't have three sisters standing within 6 feet of each other. So what if it's just one lady?
I hated that choice. Can I just talk about that?
Well, you're the one who talks about like, oh, he's going to give her these parts. Well, apparently he's not for women's parts. He's only for like my wife's parts.
Well, that's so what it seems like because like I know like, okay, so the Weird Sisters don't necessarily have a ton of lines, but they're really iconic.
Sisters seems to connote more than one woman.
And there's so many words within the text.
Yeah.
that refer to multiple people. So I just don't understand why they made that choice. And they tried to, with like illusions, make it look like there's 3 people, you know,
they
whatever.
can use
But
CG.
yeah, but like just give, you know, 3 people the lines that aren't a ton of lines. I just think it's I don't know, there's a magical number of 3, you know, and this is, you know, some weird prophecies type stuff. I just think it works better with that took me out of it. I don't know. I'm like, is this Macbeth? What am I watching here?
Can this take you out of it?
Oh boy.
Retroactively?
What?
To learn that the old man who prophesies about the
I know it's the weird
okay.
sister. I knew that while I was watching. I was like, why?
Well, that's a choice.
Yeah. I was like, why is this happening? Because I was like, I don't remember this in the play. Why is the one weird sister the old man?
It's not in the play.
Okay.
There are changes in the play. From the play.
Yeah. Clearly.
Ross is not
everywhere
scheming
man.
Political operative so much in the play as he is in the film.
I didn't remember that either. It's interesting.
Well, it's not the first time it's been done. It's an interpretation that is sometimes applied. There are like, there's the 2 murderers that have speaking lines.
Right.
But I think in some stage productions and in Polanski's 1971 version, he made Ross the 3rd murderer.
Okay.
To try to imply that, Macbeth's... There are other people who are looking to take advantage of stuff. Macbeth isn't the only... And I guess Banquo aren't the only, kind of scheming people in the kingdom, that obviously a control of the political situation is important, and have a guy like Ross is good. I'm not familiar with that guy. He was great. He was one of my favorite parts of the film. Also, can't spoil a thing that's 400 years old. Heavily implied that he pushed Lady Macbeth down the stairs to clean up that loose end. Did you get that?
No, I didn't.
Well, first of all,
I guess you're right. He's the one he looked at her.
He found Fleance, but just head hid him to have so he knew where the heir was.
Yeah.
And then I think he pushed Lady Macbeth down the stairs.
Probably.
Just kind of wrapping everything up here, because he knows okay, Denzel's out. This isn't going to work, but I've got the plan set here for the next guy.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm
gosh.
It's called Macbeth. Why give so much focus to this side character? Who cares?
I know, but
it's interesting.
It is interesting.
But
it's like they
who
gave
cares?
them more of a part.
Yeah,
because I don't remember that when I've seen several productions of Macbeth, and I was like, I don't remember this character, being this way. But
let's talk about Denzel.
Yes. Oh boy. That's a heavy sigh.
First of all, let's just wrap up the original thing. So when I hear that a movie's in black and white, I reach for my revolver. Why do we have to do everything in black and white? That being said, I think they made pretty good use of what they had. It looked good. After a while, I started to sort of buy the perfume commercial aesthetic that they were going for.
Yeah.
There were a couple times that they were really doing fun stuff, like with shadow play, when they're in their tent and they're talking about stuff, and there's all these branches that are lit behind them, kind of waving.
I didn't notice
sort of like a Ida Fusicon lantern show type thing.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, oh, that's neat. But then a lot of it was just sort of Columns and Eternity by Calvin Klein, and so it's it made me think of Olivier's Hamlet, only without the dissolves, because it's the Coen brothers. So there's a lot of quick cuts back and forth between things, and they get to the end of a scene and it's bam, next scene somebody comes out. So it was brisk. It's actually 10 minutes shorter than I think the 2015 one.
Okay.
All right, Washington.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
He's so expressive as an actor.
Yeah.
And somebody, the great Sidney Poitier that we just lost.
Yes.
Not just because he's black, but he puts me in the mind of a Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
His command of this quiet, his command of the loud, his intensity.
Yeah.
He's expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we use that? Why do I feel like every line that he's doing is him trying to speed through the line and just get to the end of it so he can then act or react? When we first started, and you've got Brendan Gleeson, who his very first scene of is he doing a Brando? He's like, bring Macbeth to me. What is he doing? But the character actor, I can't remember his name. He's in a ton of stuff. He's got kind of a hook nose. and he's like a Cockney guy. He was doing the opening speech. He's talking about like what, Belladonna's boyfriend, Macbeth, was doing on the field of battle. And I was like, this is great. Because this guy is clearly trained. He's done it. This is going to be fantastic. And then Macbeth comes out and he's like, oh, well, we're just going to do this, we're going to do that. It's like, what? You're not...
You're not hitting...
You're not making a meal out of the words. Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, yeah. And a lot of it was just very quiet, kind of like in whispers. And I guess that's okay. That's maybe okay. But just like be expressive within that if that's the choice you're going to make.
Like it was... It used the Academy ratio, the squish... aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And there's no establishing shots, or at least very few establishing shots. You're just going bam, bam in between these sets. So it like feels, claustrophobic.
Yeah. Even with these
the final sword fight takes place, on parapets. Like you could not fight with swords on parapets, but it's supposed to be, he is trapped, right?
Yeah, right.
But like, I just didn't know why. And then he would, and I'm not saying, I know that he's a good actor, but like then some other, like, Stephen Root would come out and use a very hacked up Porter speech and still be running circles around him just because they're just experiencing the dialogue. They're letting it speak for itself,
Yeah.
I think I've gone through this myself as somebody who has done Shakespeare at different points in his development as an actor. And I feel like Denzel is like looking for the operative parts of it and trying to arrange his performance around those parts. And if you're going to use the whole speech,
yeah, right.
Shakespeare doesn't do that. He will go 2 or 3 times down onto a metaphor or a simile, or he'll pause to do something else. And then obviously the switch where you get mad about something comes a little later or something like, and I just felt like he was pushing through to get to the points that were like, this is the part where I'm angry about something, or this is the part where I'm like, I don't know about this dagger. Let's just see this dagger. If I was directing him, I would tell him to, look,
take your time with it.
They all paid their money. Take your time.
Yeah.
There's no clock running on this.
Yeah.
But clearly they wanted the whole thing to kind of move. And I don't want to accuse them of feeling like they, what they were doing was boring or that they were going to lose the audience. I don't want to say that they were being apologetic for what they were presenting.
No.
But I could be talked into it.
They were.
I don't know.
I don't think you should approach Shakespeare that way because I think you're going to lose the audience if you do. I think you have to figure out what it is that your character is saying and why they're saying it. Obviously, that's just called acting. But I don't know. Like, yeah.
Plus, what's Macbeth's problem?
He's power hungry.
Is he? At first, he's like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Because of Lady M.
I don't know. And that is the actor's job to interpret that. And Macbeth has been interpreted in a lot of different ways over the years. There's also the implication. One of the things I like about Macbeth is a lot of people say things that there's no way they believe. Or they must be the stupidest person in the world to believe that. So, like, we know that Duncan is, he gets killed by this guy that he promoted. Clearly, he doesn't know the minds of his followers. But he says to Macbeth, well, what are you feeling? There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Mm-hmm. I'm like, really? Do you have like prognosia or something like that? You can look at somebody and tell what they're thinking.
Their face.
Yeah, and then later in the next scene, Lady Macbeth tells him like, I can tell your face is a book. She says, I can tell what you're thinking. So like. You have to make your own interpretation.
Absolutely.
And like by the time we got to, is this a dagger I see? I was thinking, would this guy hallucinate a dagger? He's not full of, I haven't seen the passion and the lust for power yet. He's almost just like,
I see what you're saying.
A dagger. Then later on, when he sees or doesn't the ghost of Banquo, Lady Macbeth says, these fits like this happen to him. Now, is that true? Or is that just made up because he's reacting?
I think.
But what if it is? Like, is he...
Yeah, well, that's true. We don't know.
Is he schizophrenic? Is he somebody who has seen things or is likely to see things? Is it a folie à deux? Because Lady Macbeth obviously finds herself in a similar position later on in the play.
Yeah.
You know, these are not
Yeah,
just like cool
right.
speeches to say,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what's the connective tissue that you have to add? Because the problem with this is this was written over 400 years ago, and we
Right.
don't have the author's thoughts on it. He's not Arthur
No.
Miller. He didn't write all that in the margins. And so you've got hundreds of years of commentary, but if it's going to be yours, like what are you doing
What's
with it?
your interpretation of it?
What does it mean that you're black? It doesn't have to mean anything,
Right.
but
But
does
does
it
it?
mean something?
What does it
You're
mean
black.
that you're a mixed
Macduff is
couple?
black.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're a mixed couple. Macduff is not a mixed couple.
Right.
I don't. Perhaps we're past that, and it's great.
Perhaps
It's fine
we
if we
are.
are. It's fine if
Yeah.
we are. Although it does make some interesting situations where you've got a guy called Wayface, and he's like, "Get Wayface out of here," and then you replace him with a black guy. It's like, okay. And then
That's
like,
fine. That's fine.
So who is it? Who was it? Ross is talking to Macbeth, and he's like, "My fair cuz," and it's like, "Oh no, you can't say that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Macduff.
Don't
Yeah.
be niggard of your speech." It's like, okay,
Whoa.
now see how
Wow.
things change? It's okay to edit. You can cut stuff out. That's fine.
Yeah, you can cut
Things
that
don't
out.
work anymore, and that's
no,
fine.
No. That just cut that.
What'd you think about Lady Macbeth, Lady M?
I thought she did a really great job. I thought she was very convincing in her hunger for power and like pushing him to do murder, because he does, he second guesses himself. He's like, maybe this isn't a good idea,
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I don't know.
You're not sure.
Again, the sparseness of the sets, of the staging,
Of the costumes,
also applied
too.
to a lot of the performances, I think.
That's true.
I don't think you have to tear your hair and jump off a parapet or something like that. But, I think Frances McDormand is an actress who is really good at doing a lot with not much, with a sparseness of dialogue, with expressions, saying one thing and meaning another. And so there are parts of it I thought were really good. There are other parts where I thought she's also doing the thing where it's like, well, let's just blow through this scene. Here's the scene where I'm trying to convince you that we should do this.
Do you
and
think that Joel Cohen directed them that way?
he must have.
Doesn't that seem like a weird choice to
Look,
you?
Joss Whedon did a terrible Much Ado
Oh
About Nothing.
my god! And it was in
doesn't-
black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was, because it was art. With an
I
H.
hated.
It was
I hated
art.
that. I hated that.
Well, it was
Mu-
bad, and he's
Much Ado is a fantastic
directing
play.
vampire movies doesn't make you a Shakespeare director. So I thought that it was fine. They really leaned on this idea of the hammering and
Yes.
and the drops of liquid, water, blood, and these
Yes.
things all being this kind of pounding tension and pressure that exists.
Knocking and
It was fine. They really cut the idea that here's another thing that's often added. Where are their kids? Do they have kids?
in this they don't.
No.
And they talked about that.
Well, there are no kids in the play that they have.
Uh-huh.
And so people have speculated over the years that are they a childless couple? Is her lack, because she talks about, I've had kids, but we don't see any kids.
No.
And so
we don't.
How does this affect, what she thinks about what they are trying to accomplish? And, I don't know, they just kind of cut all that. And I hate to be the girl that brings it up, but they did it really well in the 2015 one where Marion Cotillard gives almost her entire speech to her baby, to her ghost baby that isn't really there. I can't remember I don't think they did a CGI ghost or something, but it's often thought that is sort of addressed to this
the
child that
that's no longer
she's
with-
lost.
Okay.
So it gives it context. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
just Frances McDormand in a nightgown doing a pretty good monologue,
Yeah.
but it doesn't connect to what's going on. It just
Well-
seems like Macbeth is tired by the end of it. He's just
He is very tired.
I know.
He is, and I don't know if that's really what you want to go for.
Well, he would be tired. He's not sleeping. He makes that clear.
Yeah. Do you think that
Brian Thompson is in this. I loved it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think that her them giving the order? I guess it's not necessarily her. It's kind of more Macbeth to kill Macduff's wife and children. Do you think she's okay with that because
Who, by the way, he had like not you could
had a
field
lot
a
of kids.
dead baseball team with all his kids.
Whoa, yeah, there were a lot of kids. Do you think she was okay with that because she didn't have any children? So it's kind of like, well, I don't have any children, so why should they have children? Or let's
maybe.
just get rid of. I don't know. Like, I feel like I've seen stage productions where it seems like she's. I know we see that her pushing Macbeth to murder the king and everything, but I feel like I've seen stage productions where she's more involved in the planning and she's more like pushing him, and so then the out damn spot speech kind of comes out differently. You know, like she's literally trying to wash the blood from her hands. She feels responsible, and it's kind of, you know, has she lost her mental facilities? Perhaps yes. Kind of seems like yes. But I didn't really get that from this necessarily. I mean, to some extent, but I didn't get it as much. Let me just put it that way.
What would have helped you get it? Because I feel like it's there.
It is there.
I just feel like we don't ever see these people feel all that bad about what they're... Look, again,
No,
I don't want them to roll around on the floor, and I've seen a lot of bad productions of Macbeth.
No.
But if the stress drives one man insane and drives the other woman, you know, deep, to be possessed by grief and to be completely insensitive to the world around of her, she's walking in her sleep.
Yeah.
And just giving the whole thing away,
Right.
which is why I think Ross posted down the stairs. Where is that emotion? It's not on screen. I don't see it on screen.
No, you're right. I think maybe there was a choice to, like, we're using sparse sets and everything, so we're going to use sparse emotions too. But you know, one thing they didn't sparse out on, and they maybe should have, was the leaves falling. There were.
Oh, I thought that was great.
I thought it was a little okay at the end. I thought it was great, but like when they were walking through the forest, I just thought there was too many leaves falling all at
Well, they made a
once.
choice. There's obviously staging in this. Like they
Yes.
made the choice that, you know, unlike Macbeth 2015, where we're going to fight the tree army and it's a slaughter / color run where all the
Yeah.
colors are going around, the smoke and everything, and they're out there on the field. You know, you have to explain on the stage why Macbeth is having his armor put on in the throne room in one thing, and
Yeah.
then he leaves stage and somebody else comes on and Macbeth comes back on and we're in a woods now.
Right.
And so they used like movie magic to do that, and I thought that was cool. When he opens the window, all the leaves blow in.
That I thought
Then
was cool.
the C word shows up,
Yeah.
and they start fighting in the throne room. And as we go to a side view, perpendicular to the door to the throne, we see all these kind of like stagey fake trees and leaves in the background. So it's like they're fighting in the woods, you know, they're not in the castle. Like I thought that was smart, I thought.
No, I thought that was fine. It's just like when they were on. I'm sorry, I'm getting really nitpicky. When they were on the horses and like all the leaves are falling, I was just like, that's too many leaves.
And everybody, I mean, it's ridiculous to contemplate in the first place, but everybody gets their very fake from Girton's
Right, little tree branch.
They hold them up and they're, all right, we're ready to go.
We're a tree army.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all right, this isn't Lord of the Rings, but that's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Nobody was going to pay for the big CGI armies, so we're going to do
No.
it this way.
Right.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, do you think it's interesting to note that not only does in Lord of the Rings an army of trees devour an enemy army,
Yeah.
but also the Witch King of Angmar can't be killed by a man, but is instead killed by a woman.
Yeah, seems like they got some ideas from Macbeth. Just saying. J.R.R. Tolkien. Seems like you.
We got your number,
Yeah.
old man.
That's right.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I got an inkling that you're a plagiarist.
Whoa.
Would you recommend
it's
this?
An homage. Tentatively, yes. I mean, I just think Shakespeare is great to watch in general. If you like these actors, I say go for it. You're probably going to recommend the other film more. Fine. I like this okay. I didn't love it. So I guess tentatively, yes.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And like good acting on display. I like some of these actors. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I just wish that, you know, we don't have to go Baz Luhrmann on it, but I wish that
Oh gosh, no.
they had let it open up a little more. Because
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's supposed to be everybody does Shakespeare, and suddenly we're all super serious. And we have to do this.
That honestly, that's what I hate.
And you can either do I like the 2015 one, which is very self-important and serious, but is also emotional and is they cultivate that feeling of dread and brooding.
Yeah.
Either brooding over this crime that I'm going to commit, or brooding over dreading the punishment that's going to come afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is, I saw this compared to The Man That Wasn't There, and I don't know if it's just because in Academy ratio and black and white, the Coen Brothers movie, The Man That Wasn't There.
Oh, okay.
If it's just because it's shot very much like it, or if it's because it's also sort of takes place in a very small scale, very few locations, and is sort of subdued in terms of its emotional tonality.
Sure. Right. Is that also kind of stagey? Because I did, I was okay with the stagey aspects of this, but.
Well, it depends on your definition of stagey, but don't you're derailing what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I would recommend it. I think it's fine. I don't. It's a little suspicious that it came out in January, although it is an Apple Plus movie. I'm sure it will be in contention for awards, but January's it's a long haul till December, and then the nominations next year.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid this might get looked over, but I think that would be okay. I don't think this is like all-time great stuff, but if if Joel Coen wants to set up a business where he just shoots out low-budget Shakespeare adaptations, I'd watch the next one for sure.
Sure. Yeah. I would too. I would give it a chance. So maybe I'll do a comedy next time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
Why isn't this a comedy?
They could have made he could have made parts of it funny.
Why didn't they do? Yeah,
I don't know.
No, but why didn't they do As You Like It or something like that?
I don't know. Go back to my theory that Frances wanted to play Lady M. I don't know.
What's one with like the big characters though? Yeah, do well, I guess they did a Love's Labor's Lost. You don't want to step on Uncle Kenneth's territory.
Oh, he just does all the Shakespeare plays.
He'll come and shove
whatever.
a crumpet up you sideways. So you don't want that, but
No,
maybe
you
you'd
don't.
want to watch this pretty good adaptation
Yeah.
of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
If we shadows have offended, let us know in the comments.
Aww.
On Facebook and Twitter, on the Googles, boxes, and the Instagrams, and the meta worlds. Are we going to be in the metaverse?
Aren't we already?
Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Big world. Oh, Meta World. Okay.
Yeah.
I stepped on that.
Find us there. Let us know what you thought about the tragedy of Macbeth. Tragedy or triumph? Did that before.
Yeah.
Tragedy or comedy of Macbeth?
Yeah.
What about a funny sequel with a wedding at the end?
I'm afraid something bad's going to happen
No?
at that wedding.
Where's
I don't know.
Lee Blessing, get on that.
Yeah.
See what you
wow.
can do with that.
Wow.
You can also find us on your listening platform of choice. Get out there. Subscribe to the show. You don't want to be the last person not subscribed to this show.
No.
Come on, Wayface. I'm so sorry. Get up here and subscribe to this thing. Leave us a review and a rating because you would appreciate that. That really does help us out. You can't know. The ear has not heard, tongue has not seen, or butt has not tasted.
Whoa,
the
weird.
power that a good rating can do for us. So give us 5 weird women.
Oh, there you go.
You want to do 1?
Yeah.
I'm doing 5.
There you go. Better.
They're all going to fight over who gets to talk
Yeah.
first. No, let's not. Come on.
No.
Don't. Why do you
One word at a time.
sell your sex out in a second?
Double, boiling trouble.
No, I get to say double.
Yeah, I get to say it.
Sell them all out. So
Yeah.
don't let her sell out her sex. Give us 5
Stop it.
stars. And
Quiet.
we will. I gotta finish the show. We'll talk to you next week. Until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.